remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have one present while you are being questioned.
Tajon Ferguson ignored his right to remain silent.
What evidence do you have?
He begged. He cried. Pleaded his innocence. And still,
I'm just telling you that's what the charges are, okay?
I swear to God on my mother.
That's fine, but I'm not the judge, man. I can't go.
I'm not gonna be able to see him, Judge. I'm gonna lose my life again.
He spent 10 months in Louisville's jail for a crime he didn't commit. May 2017.
Hands up!
Go, hands!
Put your hands up!
Hands!
The cops just jump out of the car with their guns screaming, put your hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up. And at this point, I'm literally froze in shock because I'm thinking, I'm about to be the next Trayvon Martin, and all I went to do was sell an Xbox.
Ferguson, his sister, and a friend thought they were meeting someone at a Walgreens off 3rd Street to sell his Xbox One for $250 so he could pay a traffic ticket. Police thought he stole the gaming device. Panic.
Terrified.
Confusion. Because what he really stole was this picture he posted on Facebook to find a buyer.
Copied and pasted a random picture off the marketplace of someone selling an Xbox. Posted it, said I had an Xbox for sale.
Court records show the image was tied to an Xbox stolen in a robbery. Ferguson was misidentified at the scene. It cost him 10 months of his life. And 5 years later, it cost Louisville taxpayers $176,000 to settle. Do you feel vindicated?
No. No, I feel disgusted. Regardless of if the person misidentified me, it's the officer's job to do their due diligence.
The city paid him after a major misstep.
He's got a receipt in there.
Ferguson had a receipt in the car for the Xbox he was accused of stealing. The officers didn't care.
All right.
Yo, was that the actual Xbox?
No.
It wasn't.
No. So, that's what we're gonna see if it's still good for the robbery. You got ID'd, so. All right.
That's taking a person's life away from time, days, years, missing relationships with people, careers. It takes a mental toll on you.
Put your hands behind your back!
Complaints of false arrests, malicious prosecution, excessive force. They all led to a Department of Justice investigation into LMPD, probing whether Kentucky's largest law enforcement agency routinely violates the public civil right.
The Justice Department is opening a civil investigation.
While that investigation plays out, we now know the city paid out big for these problems. $37.8 million in settlements since 2017. We compared, it was at least $12 million in the 5 years prior and is much higher than neighboring or similar sized cities, including Cincinnati, Indianapolis, New Orleans, and Oklahoma City.
I think that's astronomical. It frustrates me that we're spending so much money, and those dollars could be used for other things to help people.
Some cases you know. $12 million for the botched police raid that killed Breonna Taylor. $8 million for Kerry Porter.
Down to Louisville police, shame on y'all.
He spent more than a decade in prison on a wrongful murder conviction after a detective fabricated evidence. But there are many more like Ferguson, who the city quietly paid.
I just want to know why. Why didn't you investigate? Why didn't you do your job?
Now taxpayers are getting hit with another cost. You're telling me right now the city has no outside insurance?
That's correct.
How? Why? And how dangerous is that for us as a city right now?
You know, I would say that because of the large numbers of payouts that we have, that outside insurance carriers look at the city of Louisville and say, no, I don't think so.
Previously, the city set aside money for self-insurance and savings, and separate trust funds shared by other metro agencies for insurance, like MSD, TARC, and the Housing Authority. Small or moderate payouts were funded through the savings or the trusts, and that trust would purchase outside or excess insurance coverage to offset the cost of larger settlements. WDRB reviewed settlement reports dating back to 2017 and 700 pages of insurance agreements. We found the city lost its safety net in June 2021. The insurance coverage went away after the Breonna Taylor settlement and the $14 million settlement MSD paid to the family of Detective Deidre Mangadot. MSD truck driver Roger Burdett hit and killed the officer during a traffic stop as he had porn playing on his cell phone.
So where does the buck stop as far as who's approving the amount of these settlements and knows about?
Mayor Fisher.
Well, good afternoon.
We
everybody.
tried for
Thank you all
2
for
weeks to
being
get an
here.
interview with Mayor Greg Fisher. His PR team refused. The city CFO couldn't avoid questions from Metro Council.
Have we been able to secure a outside insurance?
Still trying to, but it is doubtful that we are going to, given the nationwide problem with the excess coverage.
Translation:
Metro Louisville has had to create a very large bank account to pay for civil liabilities.
a $6 million increase in 1 year, from $3 million to now $9 million set aside for settlements, all on the taxpayers' dime.
Is that fair to taxpayers?
I think not, but that's just my opinion.
Tajon Ferguson doesn't think it's fair either.
Mess up of an officer falls on the taxpayer, the people that they're doing it to. That's inhumane.
After 10 months in jail for selling his own Xbox,
It changes you. It makes you look at life completely different.
he says he's lost hope and fairness in Louisville.
What haunts you the most about this tragedy?
The fact that they can do that and they don't have to answer. No accountability, as if they're immune. I don't think that the officers understand that they get to go to work tomorrow and they get to go to bed tonight peacefully. Those people, you change their whole lives.
Are you available at 19 every day? This is the lineup. Is that correct?